might this major find steer the investigation into the disappearance of MH370? For more on this, we're joined by Ira Leifer. He's an oceanographer at the University of California, Santa Barbara. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, and it's very important information that's come to light right now.
Yes, and Ira, based on the search area the past year from MH370, are you surprised that this piece of debris ended up on Reunion Island?
I couldn't say that I guess I'm surprised it took so long for a piece to end up someplace. Looking at the shells, which you can see grown on the piece of the airplane, they're of a length that suggests it's been in the ocean for over a year, and it's been drifting this entire time, being colonized. Now that we actually know someplace it came to shore, we can actually use the models to go both backwards and forward to try to dial in on where the airplane may have crashed. Before, we only had one direction, and so this is a really important step forward.
Ira, I do want to ask you about those barnacles that you mentioned. It's been a topic of conversation the past few days. Does it indicate that this piece may have been floating above water this entire time, or what does it signify? What does it indicate?
So it certainly would indicate that it's been in the ocean rather than somebody specifically putting it, moving it there themselves. It also would say that it has not been deep in the ocean. You would expect it to be up in, call it the photic zone, where the sun is in the upper water column, probably at the sea surface, floating just a little bit below the surface.
So could the confirmation of this piece found on Reunion Island mean that other pieces could be nearby? Do you think that the search area should be moved closer to where this one piece was found?
Yes, because these are some new indicators, and the most important thing right now is to give the scientists and the modelers an ability to try to force their models to describe reality. And as new pieces, even if they're small, are discovered in the vicinity of Reunion Island and nearby, it'll confirm and force the models to actually zoom in on the most likely area of where it may have gone down.
And when you say models, do you mean ocean currents? How does that play a role in all of this? Do you have to go back and reverse historical ocean currents?
That's actually a really good question. And taking back a few years before, when Fukushima had the tsunami, debris eventually made its way all the way across the Pacific. But how exactly it did it is something that's not really well understood, because it's wind and currents. And the question is, how much of the pieces of the airplane are feeling the winds versus feeling the currents? That's where any data information clues become very valuable in getting the models right, and will help us actually understand how marine debris moves around the oceans.
All right, Ira Leifer, thank you so much. We appreciate your insight from Santa Barbara, California.